Welcome to the Blue Lounge. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the channel. Let me take off this logo. I'm blocking Julius's face here. Here we go. Welcome everyone. I hope you guys are all having a good evening. My camera stops. Good timing for the camera to go off. All right. Welcome guys. I said I'm not streaming today. I said I'm streaming Saturday and then Sunday. But guess what? Chelsea decided on the bidder, on the new owner, the potential new owner. And there was a couple of spanners thrown in the whole situation this morning with Sir Jim Ratcliffe dropping a £4 billion bid, apparently. Out of nowhere. And apparently it was taken seriously. Apparently Jim wasn't interested, and then all of a sudden he's interested, and he puts in, to be precise, £4.25 billion worth of an investment, with a £1.7 billion dedicated to rebuilding the stadium, or building a new stadium, and also the rest would go to transfer Kitty. A very strong bid by a English businessman, potentially the richest English businessman around. But it looks like he left it too late. Or did he? We're going to discuss that tonight, because Todd Boehly has been chosen. Todd Boehly is the chosen one, or the chosen consortium. He represents the chosen group by Chelsea Football Club. Is it a done deal? Maybe. The rest of the bids are out. Pagliuca, he's gone, and Martin Broughton, he's out of it. The only bid that is being looked at now and is going to speak directly to the board and give his proposal, and his proposal will be discussed directly and potentially with Roman Abramovich, it's only going to be Todd Boehly. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, his bid, a lot of people are talking about it coming too late, too little, too late. Some are saying no, that was the mystery bid that was never made public. It was always there, but it was never made public. And to me, that makes more sense than him putting a bid over the past couple of days, the past couple of weeks. Because a bid for such a venture isn't something you wake up in the morning and decide to go to your local Tesco's and buy Chelsea Football Club. It's something you're going to have to spend a lot of time working on, thinking about, and preparing for. So whatever is happening with Sir Jim Ratcliffe may not be done and dusted. Keep your eyes peeled, because this has been a roller coaster of a ride. I personally am 100% behind the Todd Boehly bid. I am 100% behind the Todd Boehly bid because I think this man and his consortium do have what it takes to make or to continue developing and building Chelsea Football Club. I'm not ruling out Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I'm not ruling him out. But this is the way we're going right now. And we're going to discuss this today with my panel. I know what you're thinking. You sacked them all. You gave them their P45s, man. Why are they back? No. Like I said to you guys, I am doing some adjustments on my channel. My panelists are my family. You don't sack your family. If you sack your family, they will come back in and break the door down and come back into the channel because it's their channel just as much as it is my channel. However, because of personal things that I'm going through, I can't do my streams the way I used to do. So we will have our debates possibly once a week, and things will continue to develop on this channel as with our club. As our club is developing, so will the Blue Lounge. So I appreciate everyone for being here. Big up to all of you and thank you for your support. Have you guys all hit that like button yet? 22 likes. So no, you haven't all hit the like button because there's nearly 50 of you in here and there's only 22 likes. So I want to see them likes go up while I say hello to my panelists. Sorry, my subscribers. My panelists, I'll come to them in a second. Alex CFC, new chapter. Yes, it is. Now, this is a long comment. Welcome. We'll see. We'll see. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about potential transfer window. George, big up to you. Courtney, big up to you. Jeff, big up to you. The Boehly era, CFC Blues, big up to you. Big boots to fill. Definitely. Definitely. Lads, we must not forget. We must not forget. And I'm going to say this because it's the right term to use. We must not forget the great man who made Chelsea Football Club what they are today. He's not everyone's favourite individual today, but as a Chelsea fan, I got to say, thank you for everything you have done for my club, Roman Abramovich. Thank you for 20 years of success. Thank you for your love, your support, and you will always be one of the biggest fans of this club, regardless whether you're the owner or not. I know Roman Abramovich and Chelsea Football Club will always resonate in his heart. So we are opening a new chapter as a team, as a squad, as a club, as a fan base. But we will never forget what you have done for our club. So thank you to Roman Abramovich for everything he has done. Big up to you, Jeff. Biggest boots ever to fill. Luke Mudway, evening. Welcome. Julian, I think Jim Ratcliffe, he'd be good, but Boehly is the best to take forward. Yeah? We'll discuss. We will discuss. Where have you been, Gabriel? Seriously? 10 p.m. and you just found out? Big up to you, Gabriel. Elijah, big up to you. Who else do we have? Carlton. No to Yank's Consortium. I'm going to talk about this, Yank, and I think I might change your mind by the end of the night. And if I don't, I don't, but we'll see. Couch Critic, evening fam. Big up to you, Couch. Who else do we have in the chat? Let me see. Dexter. Evening Mo and all. Big up to you, Dexter. ITM. We want Sir Jim. JP. Big up to you. I know this guy. He's not been around for a while, but I know this guy. Big up to you, Eric. Good to see you in the chat. Canoe. Keep Tuchel. Definitely keep Tuchel. Olu. Hello, Mo. And the panel. Yes, the panel are back. Hello, Olu. John Arnold, big up to you. And if I've missed anyone, I sincerely apologize. Not done intentional. Not done intentional. Let me say hello to my family. Julius, big up to you. How are you?
Good to see you all. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Wasn't expecting to be streaming today, but we're here. We're here. Big up to you, Julius. Couch critic, how are you? How you doing? Before you start, have you fed your kids today?
He's eating snacks right now, so
All right,
the
fantastic.
actual meal will have to come a little bit later. But yeah, he's doing good. I'm doing good. Definitely, leave it to Chelsea to find a way to like mask the fact they played so poorly against Man United. Like I make a video, I guarantee it's not going to get one view just because of the news that broke today. All good though.
Yeah, no, today it's been a roller coaster. I mean, I've seen a lot of YouTubers they had to make like 4 or 5 different videos, and the thing is with YouTube, after your third video, it doesn't notify your subscribers, but people are still making videos because so much is happening. So it is what it is. Chris, how are you? Welcome back.
How am I, mate? I am good. How are you, mate? Hope everyone's well. Big pleasure to be back in the Blue Lounge, best Chelsea fan channel on YouTube. That's a fact. Big up Mo, big up Julius, big up Couch, big up Bob, big up the chat. New era. Thank you, Roman. Let's look to the future.
Big up, Chris, and thank you for your kind words. Thank you for your kind words. Bobby, Smoky Signals, how are you? Good to have you back.
Hey Mo, honestly, big up, guys. What an extraordinary few hours. I mean, every club has its history, but Chelsea Football Club's history is perhaps one of the most fascinating and most intriguing stories of a football club ever told. You know, I posted our 1970 FA Cup win after a replay, the one and only time an FA Cup has been won after a replay. We're just different. You know, we just do it our way. 1955, we win the league and qualify for the first European Cup, the first club in Britain to qualify for the European Cup, and we weren't allowed to play in it. I mean, you can't make this up. That's Chelsea. It's a Chelsea thing,
It
you know.
is. It is. It is. It definitely is. Look, this season, guys, you got to remember this season. All right, 2021 to 2022 season has to go down in Chelsea history for being the most. What's the word here? The most eventful. The most eventful season ever. We won the World Club Cup. We lost our owner. We could have been going into Christmas top of the league, but COVID rips us to shreds. 2 key players, long-term injuries, and from November to December, we go from number 1 to number 3. Number 3. Did we drop to number 4? I think we went to number 3, and that was it. And the Champions League the season beforehand. Frank Lampard this season. Listen, you can't make this up. Seriously, Chelsea, these past couple of years, we've had a madness. I know other clubs will tell you about how turbulent their seasons have been. Nothing in comparison to Chelsea. And that's why I was upset for the match, the presser, the pre-match press conference for Thomas Tuchel, when the journalist was asking about what he thought of the turbulent time Manchester United were having. Have you seen Chelsea recently and what we're going through? But with all the odds against us, we are still doing the business. And we are still the envy of everybody. Even though we're going through what we're going through, we are still the envy of everyone. Do you know today, everyone had their hearts in their mouths this morning because they thought the richest businessman in the United Kingdom was about to own Chelsea Football Club. And how was that going to impact everything? Well, I want to say something. Let me just change the screen so I get the panelists comfortable. Do you guys know the final bid by Todd Boehly is actually a very powerful bid, because a lot of people are still thinking, 2.5, 2.7, 2.9 billion. The actual final bid by Todd Boehly is 3.5 billion pounds. That is the final bid that has been submitted by Todd Boehly. 3.5 billion pounds. A massive bid. A massive bid. And I think one of the reasons why a lot of people, a lot of individuals fell out of the race is because they always knew, and I think the Rain Group was always going to tell them and show them that the threshold for this bid is going to keep growing. And Roman Abramovich only yesterday requested that an extra £500 million to be added to the bid. Why? The reasoning isn't very clear to me. I mean, I don't know if the panelists are going to be able to shed some light onto that, but the extra £500 million played a massive factor, I think, in narrowing the field to where it is today. Todd Boehly has been on the case to buy Chelsea Football Club for quite some time. And the fact that he's where he is today is because he has been prepared to jump through all of the hoops, all the barriers that have been thrown at him by Chelsea Football Club, by the Rain Group, by the British government, by everybody. He has continued to advance to buy this club. That shows a lot of determination, lads. I have linked two videos in the description of the stream. Both of these videos are just under an hour and both are over half an hour. These are two interviews, or two, I wouldn't call them interviews, I would call them discussions with Todd Boehly. One was done with a number of individuals and one was done with a couple of individuals, where he explains his mindset and his philosophy when it comes to business, and specifically sports franchises or sports ventures. I will play a clip of one of those videos in the stream in a little bit, because I want to get you guys to watch and to hear and to understand the way Todd Boehly thinks. Because until you do that, you're not going to know who this new owner is. Unfortunately, our previous owner wasn't so media friendly. He didn't like to speak to the media on the regular. In fact, ever. Therefore, we judge him by his actions rather than by what he says. And we have to say that his actions spoke a lot louder than anything he could have said. And generally, they were pretty good when it came to Chelsea Football Club specifically. Todd Boehly, we're going to listen to what he has to say and get some insight into the way he thinks in the stream. Today's stream is going to be an open discussion. My panelists will be given the opportunity to discuss this topic freely. We will not have set time for anyone in particular. I'll open the debate and I'll let everyone discuss. But at the same time, I will give you guys an opportunity to come on to the stream and give me your thoughts and opinions on this whole thing direct to the panel via a link that I will post. I'm going to say this and I'll open the discussion to the panel. Lads, Todd Boehly is the preferred bid. Therefore, it is not done and dusted. There's still room for another outcome to happen. But how confident are you guys that this is the new owner of Chelsea Football Club? Take it away, lads.
Hey, okay, I'll jump in. First of all, I don't think that this Ratcliffe bid just came out of nowhere at the 11th hour. It's like you said, Mo, this is something that's been brewing for quite some time. And when you think about the size of the bid, you don't just like wake up the next day and be like, yo, man, all right, I'm just going to bid for Chelsea now. Like, this has been brewing. He was probably the guy that when we heard of the preferred bidders, He was probably the silent one that nobody heard, that nobody was getting full information of. Tight, airtight. I do like that approach. But having said that, like his bid itself is numbers wise, it sounds really impressive, but it really isn't. It really isn't when you look, just pick through the bones of it. Like 4.25 billion, 2.5 billion is going to be going to, or however many is going to be going to the war relief. And then the 1.75 billion, I initially thought that was going to go right into the playing staff, like over the next 10 years. But I've later been told that like it's 1 billion to develop Stamford Bridge, and then 750 million to put towards the playing staff over the next 10 years. That works out to about 75 million pound a season. That's nothing. That won't even get you a Lukaku.
Couch. I know. No, when I saw that, when I read that, I thought the same. I thought this is too small a figure to do anything with. But I think this will be an injection to the kitty annually, rather than being the transfer budget. I think we're taking into account maybe league position, maybe advertisement, sponsorship. On top of that, TV revenue, trophies.
Even still,
Go,
that doesn't
yeah.
really amount to much because we're not operating at a profit. We're operating at a loss, right? So in order for Chelsea to make crazy money, we got to win the Champions League. We got to finish first. Like that's how we make net positive. So then what you're saying is we have to sell in order to buy, and then it'll be supplemented by 75 million a season. Come on now. That's not impressive. If you're telling me it's 175 million over the next 10 seasons, that might be something a little bit different. Like now we can actually move the needle and make a difference in the transfer window. You look at this window coming up right now. We need 2 center backs. We need a midfielder. We need wing backs, and we need attackers. I don't care what anyone says. We need attackers, man. As much as we spent, I can't even tell you how much the last 3 years on attackers. We still need more because we just don't have the right fit here. So yeah, as much as the Ratcliffe bid looks good on paper, it isn't really that impressive to me. And I wonder if this is a play by the UK government to get their preferred bidder in, because obviously Ratcliffe, I've been reading, is a Tory donor. All of that comes into it as well. But at the end of the day, what's going to happen is the UK government is going to pick through the Boehly bid, and if it's not good, if they don't, rubber stamp it, they probably open the door for Ratcliffe to come in. And I don't like that sort of business. I don't like the fact that he was so silent the entire time, and then in the 11th hour we hear about this bid. I don't like the fact that that's the way it's come out, because that would mean that he wouldn't leak this information if he didn't think that he was in serious contention at this point. And I don't know how that information comes out. For the whole time they've been airtight, and then all of a sudden it just comes out. It's a little murky there for me, but it's definitely something to be watched.
I agree. I think the Ratcliffe announcement this morning is crazy. I went on a channel earlier today, Blues Brothers, a small up and coming Chelsea channel. If you guys have time, go check it out, Blues Brothers. And the lad was talking about Ratcliffe deal could still be there, could still have an impact, and for me, there's more behind that. There's more behind it than meets the eye, because I'm positive that the situation is moving towards the Boehly bid, and we will see Todd Boehly's Consortium become the new owners. However, there could be something in this Ratcliffe bid that might derail this whole thing. For it to be announced in this way, in this time, today of all days, doesn't make any sense unless there was something behind it. There is something to it. And for me, it's not something that I want to see happen, because any delay to this transaction from taking place is going to be negative on the should have a negative long-term effect on the club, because next season we need to start to prepare for it from the 10th of June. We need to start preparing. We need to start planning our preseason. We need to start planning our transfer window, and we can't do that unless we have a new owner in the club. And this Jim Ratcliffe situation, I'm just praying does not delay the deal for Todd Boehly's consortium. I just hope it doesn't do that.
Yeah. In terms of Jim Ratcliffe, right? His company is Ineos, yeah? The chemical company, yeah? Correct? Right? They own Nice. So there's if he becomes the owner, where's the conflict in that? Sure, there's an issue with that. If he becomes owner and his company, Ineos, who also sponsor Nice and own Nice, sure there'll be an issue with that. So does he need to sell Nice to buy Chelsea? Does he need to get Chelsea and then sell Nice in a certain period of time? I just don't really see Jim Ratcliffe being the owner, to be honest. I think it is set in stone now. It's Todd Boehly. Was he my first choice? No. But out of the preferred bidders, at the end of the day, he's the best option, in my opinion. He wanted Chelsea in 2017, 2018. He's wanted Chelsea for a while, and he's shown interest. And I like the fact that, obviously, when he showed up to the Real Madrid game, the first leg at Stamford Bridge, he showed up unlike that other group, who I'm not going to name, who we all know. They were the first ones to fly out to wherever when the game was that night. So he showed up. And I was going to say performed as if he's a new signing for the club. No, he showed up and, was in the stands. And yeah, that's very positive as well. So for me, for the fact that I've done research on the guy as well. I've watched interviews with him. I've seen interviews. I've spoke to people that are, fans of baseball, the LA Dodgers, and they've said the guy's very, very passionate. The guy's very ambitious. Of course, that doesn't mean that he's going to be a success in football, but I hope he is a success in football because he's going to be buying Chelsea. So for me, I hope Todd Boehly is the owner, and I hope that he puts his money where his mouth, and he shows the ambition that he's been saying all along. So, mate, I'm optimistic, and I'm very positive. I don't know why people are saying that they don't trust the guy. The guy's not even walked in the door, and they're saying that. Obviously, you can't please everybody. But yeah, I'm very optimistic, and I hope Todd Boehly is the owner. So yeah, if Jim Ratcliffe is the owner, I just think there's going to be serious conflict of interest in terms of him owning Nice and Ineos having, sponsoring Nice, etc. So yeah, come on, Todd Boehly.
Bobby, what's your thoughts on this?
There are, for me, I always look at certain flags in the event of anything, and they point to me in a certain direction. I remember sitting on this stream a while back and highlighting the fact that what I believe could possibly be one of the most iconic images in Chelsea history, at par with when we used to watch Roman Abramovich, all the emotions he exhibited while watching the club, was the day Todd Boehly was caught, whether deliberately or not. If it's deliberate, well, it's still good. That was the right thing to do, the right way to strike a note with the fans. But remember when we discussed the day he walked into the stadium, just like any other fan, through security, to watch perhaps one of the worst displays of Chelsea that we've had in the Champions League. We lost that day, but he was there. And that was huge. That, to me, that was massive. You see, it doesn't really matter whether he was the preferred person from the beginning. I'm in a way glad he wasn't. All I know is that right the way through this process, this man has been interested in Chelsea Football Club for 4 years. He was badgering Roman when Roman was telling him to go away, he ain't selling. And even then he was talking over at least 2 billion. This man has gone through this process that hasn't been easy, must have been extremely stressful for all the bidders, not to mention the people hanging on to the end. and he's not flinched. He's been the least complicated, shall I say, of all the bidders right from the beginning, and that includes the Saudis. Till date, he's least complicated. And although, things like, the ownership of Nice, I've heard some people explain it and saying, well, it's not legitimately a problem. I think it is a problem because I remember how Roman, really suffered when it came to Chelsea playing Spartak Moscow back in the day, where he had ownership of. And he was split. It was just that he loved Chelsea so much that he turned Spartak into a potential feeder club to Chelsea. So, there's all those sort of slightly, I won't say shady, but let's say unclear things, even about John Ratcliffe. Yeah, he's a Chelsea football season ticket owner. I know allegiance is somewhat irrelevant when you're sinking in billions into something, but, football's slightly different. You don't say you're a Man United fan and sort of want to own Chelsea. But that aside, I think the die is cast. I think the only threat to Todd Boehly now is if he doesn't see it through financially, and then Ratcliffe is just, perching on his shoulder, waiting to strike. And I don't see that happening. He's been too long in the game now to fall at the last hurdle. Chelsea fans, we're talking about transfer market and this and that. He's only at this point being given exclusive access to speak to Roman about the sale and indeed to execute the sale. It's going in the right direction. I'm glad that the announcement has been made for the stability of the club, the players and everybody, because all this was beginning to affect the team, I personally believe. And we'll see what happens as time goes along. The investment is massive into the playing staff, into the club, it's huge. But I think he's prepared for that. And we just have to be patient, let him go through whatever is left of the process before we start talking about players. And already he's sending out signals that he's going to talk to Tuchel first. So this guy is real. The only thing here that I think the people, the lovers of the old board might like, is that it would appear, and I'm not saying it's certain, because I would prefer he just cleans out the board and brings in a new set of his people, but it would appear that he's looking favorably to retaining people like Marina. I think that's more of a sympathy vote than anything, and I kind of hope he doesn't, because if he doesn't start off strong, it could end up being a bumpy ride.
I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second there, Bobby. In regards to Marino, this guy, from what I've seen and what I've heard of him, he is very specific when it comes to what he demands and what he sees. He loves numbers. He's a businessman. All right, so for him, if he starts losing money on players, on transfers, if he starts to see this contract situation is being not managed well, Marina Granovskaia will not last 5 minutes with this man. Roman Abramovich didn't have the time to focus on this side of the business. He gave Bruce Buck accountability. He gave Marina accountability to actually run that side of things. He made big decisions for the club, Roman, but he didn't go into the nitty-gritty, using a Eunice HH term, the nitty-gritty when it comes to the finances. Todd Boehly will. And Marina needs to look at her contribution better. Otherwise, she would not last 5 minutes. And before we carry on, big up to GNA TV. Big up to Jem. Thank you for being in the chat. Much love and much respect for your support in the chat. Thank you, brother. Bobby, sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to get that said.
Yeah, I think you're quite right. But, who knows what he'll do. But personally, I think, if you're a man that's been through a divorce or you've split from your girlfriend, I always feel that, look, you've got to break off, clear the cobwebs, and start afresh. All this hanging on to Marina, all this all sentiment, it's pointless. And also there'll be all this weight of her contact with Abramovich, and just get rid of it all, get rid of them all, clear them out, and start afresh. That's my point of view.
I'm
However,
100% behind that, by the way, Bobby. 100%. You're starting a new regime right now, and you don't
yeah,
need that much carryover. If you're going to be talking about, everyone's worried about the transfer window and the succession going from Roman's ownership to this new consortium, and whether or not we're going to be able behind the eight ball just based on the fact that they're coming in right at the beginning of the transfer window. I'm like, whatever. Just give Tuchel, if you need somebody to like broker to talk to about football and get the ball moving on transfer deals, use Tuchel as a resource. We still have scouts, we still have the ability, we still have intermediaries that we work with. Bring them in, whether it's Pini Zahavi, like all these other guys, the guy from what is it, the Brazilian guy, I can't remember his name, but there's another Brazilian like sort of like consortium, or not consortium, sorry, like a intermediary that we use all the time to broker deals. Let's bring those guys in. Listen to Tuchel. Tuchel says he wants 2 or 3 players. You give him the right to bring those players in, and the need for a Marina, the need for a Bruce Buck is lessened. Just listen to Tuchel. He's the ace in the hole right now. If you examine the record of Marina and Bruce in terms of the transfer window, come on, man. Like if you're coming in as a new consortium and you're looking at that record, and you're saying, yeah, this is the person I want to pitch my tent to going forward, my first endeavor in this club, my first real movement into this club, then you're not doing it right. Like if you're just thinking, yeah, well, they've been here for a while, let me just get them in here now. That's not the way this goes down. If you've done the research and you're doing your homework, then you will know that particular partnership has not produced a whole lot of fruit. Yes, we've won a lot, but we've made a lot of mistakes in the transfer window, none more glaring than the one that we're in right now with Rudiger. So anyhow, that's my rant. I just feel like I agree with you, Bobby. Just clean the house and start fresh and new. If it takes a couple of years before we get up and running, it's better than staying in the mire that we're in right now, the mistakes over and over again,
yeah.
and and continuing on with that.
I mean, I'll just finally say on this point that, all these people that are so hell bent on Marina, whatever. Look, are you telling me if you must have a woman in that position doing deals, are you telling me a man like Todd Boehly can't find some woman in America to make deals for him for Chelsea Football Club? Just get someone new. Doesn't matter. Get another woman. But why must it be her? I think it's a waste of time. Just get rid of all these people in the board, get fresh people. The only people to keep is the coaching staff and definitely Thomas Tuchel. And he knows that anyway.
I think in the board level, the only person I want to see stay behind is Petr Cech, and it's only because of the impact that he's had on all the levels of the hierarchy. I think he brings in a good professional mindset. He's educated. He has that persona where he can influence people on the board level as well as on the pitch in regards to the players. So him, I'd keep. Everybody else, I'd do a reshuffle. Let me bring in Julius.
Just to be
Julius,
honest, he's not a board member though, right? Just so he's a
no,
director.
he's his director. He's director. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm talking about the administrative hierarchy of the club.
Right.
The only person I would be keen to keep at senior level would be Petr Cech in respect to those individuals. Julius, you haven't chipped in yet. I wanna get your thoughts on this, mate.
Yeah, thanks. To be honest, the boys that they did cover it pretty well. I agree with almost everything they said, especially with changing the manager directors basically of the club, because we need a new regime. And I said earlier, I've never been a fan of how we operate as a business and as a club, ethically even. under Roman Abramovich, even though he's been great success, and I will always be grateful for him because he made Chelsea a huge club and he put us where we are right now. But regarding then Todd, I don't know much about him, but I do agree that he's data driven, and I like that mentality a lot because you can't go wrong when you follow data. To be honest with you, in general, of course, it's not always 100% accurate, but it's all. I like strategic thinking, and this is how it is. How we usually do things previously, gambling. It's literally gambling. There's no strategy, there's no thinking, no analysis. I just feel, oh, let's just throw money left and right, not knowing what works and what doesn't work, and hope for the best. And because we're such a rich club and we have a generous owner, we get away with it. And we have been very lucky with the managers we've had along the years. Because if you look at Conte, Mourinho, Tuchel, and Ancelotti, they've bailed us out in a very horrendous, random way of doing business. Ratcliffe, I agree with Couch 100% about his bid. I was actually wanting to talk about this because when I look at the money he's looking to invest at the club, 1.75 billion, right? Over 10 years.
1.75 billion.
Yeah, over 10 years, that's not much because you have to look at how much money we're going to have to spend on the stadium. I don't know exactly the allotted budgets for each investment, but
I've seen numbers that vary from half a billion, 500 million to 1 billion. So between yeah,
that's
So
ridiculous.
so couch is spot on when he's talking about it'll be 75 million a year
Yeah.
allocated from that.
Yeah, exactly.
Take into account a billion will be
100%. And it's basically Arsenal set in a version number 2. That's what it looks like to me, that whole thing. And it's very
Julius,
worrisome.
I want to interrupt you for 1 second. We have looked over the past week at a comparison between Liverpool and Chelsea on many levels. We've talked about transfers. We've talked about the wage structure. We've talked about how they buy players specific for the need. They analyze what is missing, and they bring a player that has the attributes and abilities to cover what is lacking from the team. We need pace. They'll bring someone fast. We need strength. We need someone tall. That's how they work. Now, do you get a sense that we're gonna get a similar American owner with a similar mindset to what is being currently utilized at Liverpool?
This is a very complicated question to answer for many reasons. One of them, you could have a way of dealing with things or executing things, a structure, but if you don't have the right personnel, doesn't mean anything. You have a good engineer and a bad engineer doing the same thing. One is going to do a better job than the other. So that's why we have to, and I think before Todd, if he becomes the new owner, and because we like his approach, I think the best way going forward is getting these guys who are in charge of the club currently. If he really wants to keep them, interview them, figure out, are they good enough of the way I'm looking to run the club? Do their vision and the way of thinking, their work ethics, their values, all these things, do they align with how I would like to do things, rather than just keeping them for sentiments? Because this randomness I dislike about with how Chelsea is. I don't like it at all. So I highly doubt Marina is qualified. The only person I would want to keep is Peter Cech. Bruce Buck should leave. I would have said a different word, but out of respect to the Blue Lounge, I wouldn't. And
Message received.
yes, and yeah, Ratcliffe is a worry for me big time, and I hope there is no politics or something shady going on behind the scenes to give him the deal at the end. I don't know, but yeah, I don't want to repeat what the boys said because they literally said they well spoken, very well explained. So
All right, before we go and watch Todd Boehly speaking about his business philosophy, I want to address a few comments in the chat that specifically um, concerning Marina Granovskaia, and I'll let you guys respond as well. But I don't think anyone is putting the blame solely on Marina's head when it comes to all these mistakes. But she is definitely a big factor in those mistakes. Every error, every issue that happens within a club of the size of Chelsea, you will find that there is more than one person responsible for that error. Even when we talk about the team selection that Tuchel puts on that pitch, we talk about, oh, this is the team that Tuchel has selected. But it's not just Tuchel who selects the team. He listens to his assistants, he listens to the physio, he listens to the player. He makes his judgment based on a lot of different opinions that influence his decision. He is the one that picks the team. But that decision is based on many factors. And the same with Marina Granovskaia. When we say she's made mistakes, it isn't just her who is accountable or who is... I mean, she is accountable, but she might not be the one who's responsible for the mistake because there are many individuals that are involved. Therefore, a new owner, in my opinion, needs to change a lot when it comes to the things that were causing errors and issues within our club. And lads, if you haven't watched the two-part stream that we made the other night, go back and watch it. It's like watching Lord of the Rings. It's 2-3 hour episodes. So if you have time, go watch it because we have issues at Chelsea Football Club. We have serious issues, and especially when you compare them to other football clubs. When you look at them just in away or aside from every other club, you're thinking, well, it isn't too bad. But when you compare it to one of our competitors, one of our rivals, and in this case, I'm talking about Liverpool, you will see that we are bleeding money. We are hemorrhaging money. We are walking with cuts and bruises and we're bleeding out. We are bleeding out. And because we have an owner who is able to, give us blood transfusions, otherwise we'd be dead right now, dead in the water.
So accurate. That's what I mean. Like, you can't say, yes, I agree. And I've been banging on about this forever now, about the scouts and how terrible we are at assessing, what we want for this club. That is a big part of it. But like, I have to look at the entire structure. Marina employs these scouts. Marina is the one that signs these deals. You know what I mean? Like, the whole thing needs to be cleaned out for me. You know what I mean? It's not just the scouts. It's the entire structure right now that is the problem. Look at their hit record. Like, look at the since okay, but I got you. Since Emanalo left the club, what is the hit rate of people coming in, of players that have been brought into the club? I mean, we've missed so many times. We had Eden Hazard in his prime and failed on so many opportunities to surround him with any sort of like attacking talent to help support him. So many times. Like, I'm talking about Higuain, I'm talking about Morata, I'm talking about Pedro wasn't too bad, but like, you know what I mean? Like, all these players, like Willian, like, as much as I liked Willian, he wasn't an attacking dynamo. Like, if you play him you put Hazard next to Salah, Salah right now, like, what do you have? You have like the best team in the world. You know what I mean? Like, all of these
gold, gold.
It's crazy, right? And we had that. We had that, under Emanalo, and all of these things. Yeah, it's just sad. I can't even begin to express how disappointed the purchases have been the last 4 or 5 years, and we continually dig ourselves into deeper holes, deeper holes. Yes, part of that is the fact that we continually switch managers over and over again and don't have any sort of specific philosophy in place. It's always just, okay, this manager who plays this style and this manager plays this style. We have to find players to suit his style. But at the same time, this is still that is the structure of the club. That is how they run. Okay, I got to get some milk from this dude. So you guys know where I'm going with this stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Go on, Bobby.
Can I interject something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just look. I agree very much with what the rest of the guys are saying, but I have to highlight a certain point because I do this, and people, they get angry. I get all sorts of hate tweets and things, and eventually they turn around and say, "Okay, Bobby, I realize you were right." Look, let's just keep it real and really face that. Look, we have an opportunity to thank Roman for an extraordinary thing he has done for us. But you see, with every fresh start comes an opportunity to do things better. Now, I always refer to society as it is now. We are in a very, very dangerous place. And why I say this is that we talk of things like equality, yet we have this thing about not holding a woman accountable, even if she's in a position of responsibility. And that is dangerous. I've always kicked out against it. If we're going to be talking of equality, which, by the way, I don't think it exists anyway, never has done, never will do. Why? Because we're all different. What we have to do is respect and embrace our differences and give everybody equal opportunities. That's another story. But
Bobby, I'm going to interrupt you just for 1 second. Sorry, Bobby. I just want to clarify one aspect in regards to Marina Granovskaia. The fact that she is a woman has nothing to do with it.
Absolutely.
This is an individual who is not performing.
Yeah.
If it was a man or a woman or whatever, however she identifies, that individual isn't performing, and the fan base, and this is where your argument comes in, and I agree with you. And the fan base is giving her, or is cutting her slack because she is a woman in sports, in football, and because she is the most high-profiled female in this area. We need to give her slack. We need to cut her slack. Now, in my opinion, that is doing her a disservice, because we need to have the same, and this is what equality is about. We need to treat everyone with the same standard, with the same measurement tape. If you are going to turn up late for work, then you're not going to get paid. But because you are an attractive individual, we need to turn a blind eye. In my opinion, that is the exact thing that we're not supposed to be doing. And this is why when I see people defending Marina for being Marina, no, I'm sorry. If she was doing a good job and you want to defend her, fantastic. But when she's doing things that are wrong, say it. Speak up. This is our club. This is our club. This is an entity that represents us. This is something that we feel passionately about. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to allow someone, because they are a female, be treated differently, because I'm sure females watching the stream wouldn't be accepting that. They'd want to be treated equally. My opinion.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, Mo. It's if anything, our position is far more female friendly than this madness of creating a delusion around somebody that isn't really performing to standard. Gosh, I remember what happened to people like Trevor Birch, the pressure he was under even the great Peter Kenyon, Ron Gorley, and all that stuff about John Terry and how he had to quench that and move quickly and get a deal in to keep him at the club. Although he loved the club, almost a Rudiger-esque situation, the pressure of the money coming from Man City when they first arrived turned his head a bit, and we had to counter that. If Marina had been in charge and that was the scenario, no chance. He would have gone. Why? Because she hesitates too much. She's not in the right position. Okay, she might have good skills at doing the actual financial side of it, but this is football. There is the football knowledge that comes into it. And so I say this to say this. It's an opportunity for a clean slate. And if some of the fan base, if they're so hell bent on it being a woman, if it must be, there are other women that will probably come in and do a much better job. So we've got to get off this train. We've got to start looking at people objectively, if at all we're ever going to address this thing that people are trying to address. I mean, I just watched on Sky Sports some group banging on about Marina, and I'm like, what are you talking about? This is irrelevant. She's had her time. Thank you for the good things you've done, but it's time we move on. It's as simple as that.
And yeah, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
Correct. No, I just want to say that I don't think gender should come into it, first of all, before I go into my point. But in my opinion, you know what it's like? The comparison I was thinking when everybody was talking there was when someone wins the lottery and they spend money at the start, and you can maybe give it a pass. And then eventually it starts to hit crisis time and they're running out of money. With Marina, at the start, when she's giving players the contracts that they're on, and we discussed the contracts Chelsea are on. Some of the players that are on the wages they're on it's a shambles. But what I'm getting at is when she's giving players like that contracts at the start, you could say you can't say okay, but you can maybe say okay, it's a pass. We can give her a pass. She'll learn. But when she continuously does it, and she's given drink waters and the Ross Barclays, and then because the managers don't want them at the club, and because they're not willing to take a hit, and she starts loaning them out, and then because key players like Rudiger can't be given what they're wanting because these players are on these wages, then it becomes an issue. So this is when it comes to it. Marina, she's good at it. She's a good businesswoman.
Chris, why is she so strict when it comes to the contract she's offering Rudiger, Christensen, when they are key players in the squad, but she doesn't really have the same kind of determination when it comes to the other players that we don't. It's crazy.
I think it's down to lack of footballing knowledge, really, and I don't think she's really listening to Tuchel, in my opinion. I thought obviously Tuchel would be saying to her, "Look, can we negotiate?" Did
you see the way Tuchel has been looking over the past couple of press conferences when Rudiger's name is being mentioned?
Yeah,
his face changes. The way the blood is circulating in his face, the man is fuming.
Yeah.
The man is fuming because he is about to lose the best player he has in his defense. He's built his defense right now around Rudiger and Thiago Silva. And he knows Thiago Silva ain't going to be here for forever. And Rudiger is a player that he wants in his team, and he's going to lose him.
Rudiger's gone
because of a mistake.
Rudiger's gone. Our best centre back is 37 years old. I can understand why he's frustrated. Look, I love Silva, but we can't rely on him for a season. When we're competing on all fronts. So, yeah, just in terms of Marina, it always goes back where at the start it might have been, you could give her a pass, but when she's doing it season on end and it builds up and all these players are on these wages, and then when key players are leaving for a free because you can't give them what they want due to other players being on high wages, that's when it becomes an issue. And that just shows her lack of understanding of how to negotiate contracts, etc.
I'm gonna stop. Sorry, Couch. I'm going to stop this because I don't want this to turn to a Marina.
I was actually just going to redirect it if I could, because I was going to say basically
I'm going to spend about 6-7 minutes watching a clip in respect to Todd Boehly. I want you guys to listen to this short clip. and I'm going to just to build your understanding of who our new potential owner is and how he thinks, and then we'll address the topics at hand. But I really want to watch this, and also the guys in the chat, I'm going to give you a chance to jump on and also to take part in this discussion with us very shortly. So just bear with me while I bring this on the screen. All right, it's on.
These days, we are happy to be joined by our sponsors, Goldman Sachs and O'Melveny Law Firm. Speaking of O'Melveny, we have the co-head of the sports and entertainment practice, Chuck Baker, with us. Chuck, hello.
Hello, hello.
And to your right, my left, we have Todd Boehly, part owner of the Dodgers.
Nice to see you.
Thanks to see you. Dodgers doing pretty well.
And guys, if you want to watch the full version of this video, it's actually in the description down below. There's two videos. This is one of the videos that's in there. If you want to watch the whole video, it's there for you to watch at your own leisure later.
LA.
You know, off to a good start.
All right. Also investor in the Lakers and a few other things in terms of platform company. We will get to it. My question for you to start, why do you want to be involved as an investor? Because it's an emotional investment. It's a financial investment in sports. Because I've talked to other owners and we have discussed this. You can do everything right and still not win. That doesn't seem appealing to me. Why does it appeal to you?
Because it's intellectually stimulating. You know, ultimately, you know, I think generally that's pretty much a rule, right? There's no guarantees. And I think it's also very humbling when you do everything right and you still don't win. So there's a component of it that, you know, makes me continue to strive to do the best I can do every day. And, you know, you ultimately start, you figure it out, you put the right people in place, you build the right foundation, and you then let it run.
That's crucial. The right people in place, build the right foundation. That is crucial.
And from my point of view, at that point, you get all the benefit while you sit back and observe. And you can't tinker every day.
I love that, but I've never heard the intellectually stimulating answer. And I've asked plenty of owners, why do you be involved in this? It's fun, it's high profile, the emotion part of it. But I'm really curious about that. It's intellectually stimulating. I mean, I guess, yeah, but every day, just explain that a little bit more. What do you do on a daily basis that you get that constant feedback?
Well, you're constantly thinking about probabilities, right? And you're constantly thinking about how do I put together the best possible chance to win, recognizing that it's never 100%, right? But if you're under the hoop enough times and you're in the right place at the right time and you've built something that's sustainable, then it can continue to perpetuate. And I just love the fact that, you know, if you build the foundation, and I also love the fact that there's no shortcuts. And so, you know, to me, you know, the fact that, you know, you actually have to go out, do all the work, build your farm team, get your free agents, find the front office, you know, and then you also have to win the game, right? So from my point of view, I just love the fact that, you know, there are no guarantees, right?
Chuck,
So-
have you heard this before from other prospective owners, like this, the intellectually stimulating part
I
of it?
have actually. What I'm curious about, though, obviously it's intellectually challenging to try to put together a team and put together a winning team, and that sometimes takes years. Do you find the business itself to be challenging? You run a lot of businesses through Eldridge. Is this a business that you would say is one of the more challenging, or is it not that complex a business from your perspective?
I think there's definitely complex components to it, and the more of it that you can control, the easier it becomes. So I think, you know, one of the things that's great about the Dodgers, right, is we have, you know, 200 acres. We have our own stadium. You know, we have the ability to define, you know, how we use it every day. I think that if you don't have those pieces, then yeah, it's a harder business. But I think once you start to understand, and by the way, winning's valuable, right? So as you start winning more and winning with regularity, right, then you have more and more associations and opportunities for associations with the equity in the brand.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So let me ask you this. You and I worked on acquiring about a third.
I'm just gonna stop you for a second. So, dealing with the business correctly, having the right individuals in the right place to do the work that is required, and understanding the importance of winning. It's not about having fun, about enjoying yourself. It's about winning. Okay, that are the core principles that I like to be hearing from my potential owner. I'm just saying.
Third of the Lakers together recently. How important was the fact that your baseball team was in LA in that decision, or were you interested in the NBA generally and would have acquired a nice opportunity there?
I think I can answer this one, but I'm going to let you do it.
I think it was we started talking to Jeannie back in 2014, and our approach was very different than most, at least how it's been translated to me. We didn't show up with any agenda. We showed up with, we're your friends, we're the Dodgers, and, we're here to be helpful. And, when the opportunity came to acquire that, stake from Anschutz, Jeannie was the first, she called us first. And by laying the groundwork, and getting to know her, and getting her trust, I think that really gave us the opportunity to negotiate. And, I think we're very happy about the fact that it was in LA. And Jeannie, Dr. Buss, used to tell Jeannie, you need to do a deal with the baseball team. You need to deal with the baseball team.
So way back when, he was saying, was it synergy?
So, lads, I just wanted to give you a quick insight to the way this person carries himself, the way he thinks, the way he approaches the questions that he was getting, and his responses. If you want to watch that video, the whole thing is there in the description, along with a different one, which is more business oriented than this. So I want to get your thoughts, guys. I mean, what do you think about Todd Boehly's mindset?
Yes. Winning is valuable was the key one I took there. That's all is about Chelsea Football Club. When you think about Chelsea Football Club, you think about winning. And to me, that Todd Boehly just said there, winning is valuable. It is. He also mentioned other things with having the key people involved. He mentioned the stadium, key ingredients to success. Look, that interview shows that the guy is ambitious. Of course, I'll always jump to the point of just because he's successful in baseball and he has, I think he shares in the Lakers in basketball. So just because he's successful in that, I'm not saying that he's going to be successful in football. However, I think that the people that are not giving him a chance, give the guy a chance. He hasn't even walked in the door yet. He's not even walked in the door. Well, he has walked in the door to the game, but he's not walked into the door officially the owner. Just give the guy a chance. And I like that what he said. Winning is valuable. He's ambitious, and that's what I like to see. I'm ambitious. We're all ambitious. We want to see Chelsea do well. We only want to win. So let's get Todd Boehly in and let's back the guy. And in 5 years' time, if it's not the case, well, we will feel the wrath of Chelsea fans. So let's back him, man. Let's back him. Hopefully I've not stole everyone's points.
No. You made some really interesting points there, Chris. I mean, I've seen this video, and recently I've been doing a little bit of background into Todd Boehly. Particularly, I've been quite interested in some of the big financial backers to this, outside of Jonathan Goldstein and that Weiss first whatever Hofborg, I can't say his name, the Swiss guy.
Hans-Jörg Weiss, yeah.
We're looking at investment coming from Clear Lake and Goldman Sachs. And, these guys, I mean, this is a serious man. This is a well-organized and a well-planned man. And, people had some concerns about the financial backing from especially Goldman Sachs, who are purely profit-orientated. But, the Clear Lake, I'm still looking into them, and it's astonishing what is unearthing. These guys are actually underwritten by the United States Treasury. So their net worth, in truth, we could be looking at trillions. Nobody actually can put a figure on it because it's spread out into so many different types of investment, of which Chelsea Football Club will be among. So he's not into this with change in his pocket. You know, he's got deep pockets and he can absorb, or rather, their consortium can absorb a lot and play the long game to profit. Now, you know, there's so many things about this guy that I have found impressive. The way he's gone about this. This guy did not just start today planning and getting to know about Chelsea. He's got people knowing about the community. He's got people digging up the history of the club. He's got a PR person involved. So some woman, I've forgotten her name, who is part of the consortium. I mean, this is a well-prepared plan. And though the taste of the pudding will always be in the eating, I just have this feeling that with Todd Boehly, we're going to be in good hands. We're going to be in very, very good, secure hands. That's just my gut feeling about this guy. You know, and wow, you know, if that's the case, then Chelsea fans, as Ken Bates said when Roman took over, you know, hold on to your hats and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, yeah. No, definitely a lot to look forward to with this guy, and I think the fact that this is a consortium, and he is the one who is going to be in charge of the club on behalf of the consortium. It puts me at ease listening to him talk, listening to the way that he thinks. I am sure he's going to run the business side of the club like a business, like a private business. You see, a lot of businesses are run to make money. To make money. And when I say to make money, not necessarily to make money as in for dividend and for stakeholders, shareholders, etc., etc. No. Right now, Liverpool is run in a way where they don't overspend. They don't throw money away. Chelsea have been throwing money away. Todd Boehly seems like the kind of guy who would not be throwing money away. He would be looking at money coming in as to money going out. Where are we spending? Where are we making money? Where are we losing money? And he will streamline the operation financially. That is vital. That is important. That is important. Chelsea haven't been run properly. Roman Abramovich, all due respect, he was running Chelsea Football Club like a man who's bought a fancy sports car. Does need to change the tire? No problem. How much? I'll do that. He doesn't care. This guy, he's bought a luxury car, but he's gonna look after it and treat it nice. He ain't gonna be doing no drifts and speed racing with it. Roman Abramovich was doing that with Chelsea Football Club. He was treating this like a toy. This man is treating it like an investment.
And as you say that, this is exactly why the structure of this club needs to be completely overhauled, because we've been successful when we had an owner who just did not care about the bottom line. Right now we have to look at the business of Chelsea, and for the longest time, this board of directors and the structure that we were actually operating under they had no consideration for that. You know what I mean? It was just buy this player, sell this player, put this guy on loan for 3 years, renew his contract, put this guy on loan. We can't do that anymore. So this is exactly why I think that the whole structure needs to be ripped apart and re-implemented. But as far as Boehly goes, I'm not quite ready to accept. I trust him, and I'll trust him when I see what he actually does. But he's saying all the right things. He actually is saying all the right things, as many of us have commented. But I mean, it's action for me. Like I have to see action before I can truly get behind this whole thing. Because me, we've been talking in the private chats for a long time. I don't trust any billionaires. I don't trust any of these guys. None of them. They've gotten to their position because of their way of manipulating their words, and obviously they're sharp business minds as well. But I don't trust any of these guys. So I need to see action. You're going to tell me that you're going to, run it like the Liverpool model. Well, how? What are you going to do to make it like the Liverpool model? What does that mean? What types of people are you going to be employing to make so, we can't, our hit rate is, even 70%, whereas right now it's like maybe 20%. Like that's the true meat and potatoes of what we're talking about here. Yeah, you can say the Liverpool model. Yeah, they've been really good at just like using stats and whatnot to analyze and bring in the right people. But at the same time, you still have to have somebody in that particular role that understands how to analyze that data correctly, and still have somebody that can negotiate deals the right way as well. Because it's one thing to identify who those players are. It's a completely different thing to get that player signed, for less than what you expect to make off of that player. Like that's the problem with Chelsea the whole time. We've been buying these players over the odds, paying them over the odds, and then when they don't they don't actually meet the needs, we can't sell them because nobody wants these guys anymore. So we have to identify these low targets, like find the diamonds in the rough, and they have to make their name at Chelsea. There's no more of this buying the supreme talent and hoping that they can fit with the ethos of the club. It's more about finding the diamonds in the rough and developing them into Chelsea greats. That's what I want to see.
I'm gonna go to Julius, but before I go to Julius, I'm gonna just check quickly. 82 likes. 82 likes. There's been over 140 of you in the stream for at least the past half an hour, and we've only got 82 likes. I know some of you guys are not liking the stream because of what we said about Marina. It is what it is. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna put the link in the chat. So anyone who wants to come on, I'll bring you on one at a time, and I will give you a chance to give us your thoughts and opinions. So I will be doing that in a couple of minutes. So if you want to jump on and give us your thoughts and opinions, you're welcome to do so. Julius, let me get your thoughts.
Yeah. From the interview, it does seem that the guy is very smart and he knows how to speak and articulate himself. He's saying the right thing. He did the right thing coming to the stadium. I want to comment one thing. I think he's watched us twice, and the twice he's watched us, we lost, and very horrible. But I agree with Couch. Honestly, I don't trust until I see actions at all. We have to see what he's gonna do, because it's very easy to say things. Look at the Arsenal owners; they speak very well as well, and they make you live the dream. And what happened after? It's a joke. It's a disaster. So we have to wait. He seems to be the best option. And at the end of the day, Mo, for me, these people are extremely smart people. So because they don't get where they are if they're not smarter, let's say, than the average person, to be honest. And it's gonna come down to his attitude, not his attitude, to his passion, his goals, his objectives. If his objective is to turn Chelsea into a winning machine like what Liverpool has been recently, that's good. If his goals is to make it, if we win, it's a bonus. But as long as I'm making money and I'm consistent within the top 5, top 6 clubs in England, that's good enough. That's what worries me. And we have to see, I think, over time, his attitude, what he's gonna say. I always also have one thing that worries me quite a lot is the stadium development, because I don't want us to start spending so much money on the stadium and then see the team basically not being properly taken care of in terms of development as well. And that has happened multiple times. Spurs is one example. Arsenal is a second example. So, yeah, very interesting times. Very excited personally to see a change. I want to see structure and strategy, vision,
I'm
and
gonna I'm I'm gonna interrupt you, Julius, for 1 second. Before I bring Eric in, I want to ask you a question, Julius. And this is the question I want to ask you. We know that Todd Boehly has been keen to buy Chelsea Football Club for a couple of years now. He approached Roman before, I think it was in 18, and Roman didn't want to sell. Now, do you think Todd Boehly wanting to buy Chelsea a couple of years ago and being the first person to show interest when the club was up for sale this time around and has been trying to get this deal over the line, being the most passionate person about this actual transaction, do you think that Todd Boehly doesn't have a clear short-term and long-term plan for Chelsea Football Club? Do you think he hasn't already considered and thought about the strategy that he's going to implement? Do you think he hasn't already got a vision for how to deal with this transfer window? Because is Todd Boehly coming in to Chelsea right now? Is he doing it blind? And I'm saying this based on what we know about Todd Boehly, what we've seen, what we've read, what we've heard. How do you think he's approaching this from what you know, from what you've heard, from what you've read?
I didn't actually look into it much, but I'll tell you my perspective. Having interest in Chelsea for many times or many years ago doesn't mean anything. Because from a business standpoint, Chelsea as an investment is a no-brainer. You have to look at the projection and you have to look at the industry. The projection for the club value is going to keep going up. The club is self-sustainable, kind of. The industry, look at football as an industry. We are the consumers, right? We are the customers. The football customers are different than anything else because you have loyalty, you have blindness. So, in terms of investment, they all know that they're gonna make money off of the club. The club by itself's value is going to increase significantly, especially now knowing the location, knowing that Chelsea is worth multiple billions of dollars, more expensive than historical clubs like Juve, like Inter, like Milan, and many other across Europe and England. Adding a stadium to it, let's say you spend $500 million on a stadium, it's going to increase the club's value by $1 billion. So, other than marketing and advertisement and all the doors that is going to open to them getting sponsorship deals from the US, which are going to be much bigger than what we have at the moment. So it's literally doesn't mean anything. These guys know Chelsea is going to be a money-making machine. So
I'm gonna have to disagree with you, Julius.
Yes.
And the reason why I disagree is as follows. Todd Boehly came onto this auction, UK Got Talent, X Factor type of scenario, whatever you want to call it. He came onto this with a whole bunch of other billionaires, a whole bunch of other consortiums. And one by one, they all fell by the wayside because they don't see what he sees. They don't expect what he expects. They don't have the same plan of action that he does. They came on because they saw a business opportunity. They saw a good investment, and I agree with you. You know, Chelsea is a no-brainer. It's a fantastic opportunity. But I think he has done the work in his projections, in his analysis, in his understanding of Chelsea Football Club in a lot more detail than they have.
Mm.
And that is why he is prepared to go the extra mile. And, his bid, I think, was 2.3, 2.2 initially. And now his bid is 3.5 billion.
Mm.
So he's gone up by 1.3 billion to what he initially penciled in for this deal. And I think that has come on because of what he knows about the club and what he has done in respect to research since I think it was 2018 when he was first interested. I'll let you think about this in more detail, but let me get Eric Blue to jump in and give us his thoughts. And guys, like I said, the link is in the chat. I see a lot of you, being keyboard warriors in the chat. Jump on and let's hear your thoughts here on the chat. The link is there. Click on it, and I'll be more than happy to hear what you have to say and give you a chance and give you a platform to express your views. This is what it's all about. The Blue Lounge is a platform for you guys in the chat, for all Chelsea fans. Whether I agree or disagree with you, come on and let me hear your thoughts and opinions. Eric Blue, welcome. How you doing?
I'm just gonna first off, I'm gonna apologize for the audio. I know it's not the best. I know you prefer something, a little bit better than this. I just thought I should quickly just try and get involved as soon as I can. Obviously, thanks for having me once again. Long time no talk, long time no see. I think I caught the 2 streams ago when you did the can't remember what it was now, but I missed the United stream. I missed the United match actually. I completely missed the game, but I'm not surprised it was a draw. Obviously, let me just quickly get back to the point and not deviate too much. Yeah, this is positive news. I saw it a few hours ago. I'm happy with the developments. I think that Todd Boehly will be the new Chelsea owner. I don't know any more details. I'm not going to go into too many specifics, but from what I've seen, because I haven't done a lot of research myself, I have to be honest. But he seems like someone who is very calculated. He cares about the details, so that is a big deal for me. He's looking at every single aspect of the club, and if people aren't doing their jobs, I don't think he will hesitate to remove them. So that's obviously very positive. But hopefully we'll just see. I'm curious. I want to see what happens with this situation. I'm very curious. Is there anything specific you wanted me to say, or anything like that?
I just want to know what you're expecting from Todd Boehly when he comes in. I mean, again, there is a chance that this deal may still collapse at the last minute. Jim Ratcliffe has thrown a spanner in the works in the last minute, so things could still go in a different direction. But should Todd Boehly become our new owner, what are you expecting?
Yeah. Okay, so I think the Jim Ratcliffe thing is a diversion. I think that's just a distraction. I'm not really paying attention to that. I think Todd Boehly will be the new Chelsea owner. I'm expecting us to improve the recruitment. That's a huge thing for me. I'm not expecting him to. I don't want to start comparing anybody at this point, and I don't really understand the whole idea of people not trusting someone. Obviously, we don't know too much about him, but we need to at least give him a chance before we make any kind of judgment. So I'm looking forward to us improving our recruitment and really focusing on some kind of philosophy on the pitch. That would be nice, some kind of idea of what we want to do on the pitch and how we're going to try to achieve that, So that for me, that is it's the biggest thing. It's huge. And obviously the second thing, which is a close, obviously it's tied to it.
Expectations, Eric. Expectations.
Yeah. So,
do you? I mean, there is you made a very, very good point on the pitch, because that's where it really matters for us fans. Everything that goes behind the scenes, it feeds onto what happens on the pitch. Are you expecting Todd Boehly to inject a large amount of money in this window? Is he going to address the concerns that we have in regards to squad depth? Do you see an injection here? Do you see something happening quickly?
Yes, I think so. I think we will see for me, it's not that big a deal. Obviously, it's a big deal about the money and the investment he's able to make in the short term. But for me, what's more important is the recruitment and obviously making sure the club is fully sustainable, not just, kind of sustainable, like Julius was saying. So those are the two biggest things for me. I think he will work towards that very quickly, and the money will be maximized. It's not a lot, but it will be maximized. We will be able to make some tweaks to the system, and obviously to the team, and the squad should be improved. It's not just about spending huge sums of money. We've already seen that from some examples. So I expect him to improve the squad in the short term. I don't know how quickly it's going to happen, but hopefully we see a huge improvement. For me, I'm not even too worried about, trying to win the league next season, for example. But I expect that the squad will be a little bit better next season. That's what I'm hoping for.
All right, fantastic, Eric. Eric, you're welcome to stay on and continue with us in the debate or in the discussion. I want to hear what you guys have to say in respect to your expectations. Should Todd Boehly come in, what would you expect to see transfer window and the start of next season?
I think what we shouldn't lose sight of is the unique nature of all of this. When people say things like, I don't trust this owner or that owner, I don't really think it's a matter of that. And I think our position, I try to have a position in life in general to treat everybody with respect until you show me that I shouldn't respect you. And so I think we should treat Todd Boehly with respect unless he shows us otherwise. This is a very unique situation in that it wasn't a planned sale. It was a forced sale for political reasons. And all those things form part of this whole cocktail of what we're witnessing now. I find it hard to imagine that a man who has invested so much time, so much due diligence, so much research, so much funding, well, he will do anyway, into this club will be anything other than serious. Everything about this man has shown me how serious he is. That's why he is where he is right now in terms of being the preferred bidder. He's not got any particular skeletons in his cupboard that we know about. Well, at least not yet. But it's just too smooth a bid in comparison to the other bids. So my expectation is that he knows what he's taken over from. He knows. And if there's one thing that you can make generic about Americans, is that if they're in this position, they will want to be the best. He doesn't want to come and take over Chelsea and his consortium be second fiddle to Roman Abramovich. He wants to do better than Roman. He wants to be, he really wants to be better than Roman. And I can't see, he knows that can't happen without at least an initial cash injection. I think we should relax. The key thing now is that this announcement was made because it had to be made, I think, for the good of the team, even for the good of Tuchel, for him to know that his future is secured in the club, because I 100% believe what he says, that he is going to, in the process of being given exclusive rights, as it were, to negotiate and speak with Roman himself, he will then move on to talking to Thomas Tuchel. And that's vital. I don't see him as a hire and fire guy. I see him as a man of integrity. I see him as a man of continuity and longevity. He's not looking for a quick fix. He doesn't expect anything to be easy. So he will go with a man that makes sense. So I have some faith. I think we all have to have some faith. And, as I said, it would appear that we can hope to have a good ride with this guy and his consortium. And, we should be quite optimistic.
Yeah, I think that's the operative word there.
optimistic. There is optimism with new ownership. We don't know where he's going to go with this. My reservation is just the fact that I just heard about this guy a few months ago. So I'm not as and just not on the same level in terms of like just giving my trust all at once. But I agree with you. I am optimistic, and I do think that from what I've heard and what I've been the little bit of digging that I have been doing, there's enough there for me to at least give him the honest go, an honest shake, and an honest chance to obviously make this club better. That's what we want. Ultimately, it's not just about taking over the stewardship from Roman. It's about taking what Roman has done, gifting it. He's basically given a club that's well established, forgiven the debt. Like all of that is a head start that so many would love to have, as we've already seen. Like you're given the keys to a Rolls Royce at 16. You know what I mean? Like that's the equivalent there. And yeah, I expect him, if he really wants to hit the ground running, I mean, ultimately what I expect him to do going forward is put an initial investment into this club. Do not let Chelsea slip back any. If anything, your mandate right now for the next year, the years going forward, is to push us forward. And I'm not into this 2 steps backwards to take 1 step forward thing. I think that you have to show us that, the investment that you initially made, which is vast, it's big, is not just going to end there. You have to continue on. Like there's got to be more to it than just, the actual sale of the club. And that starts this summer because there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of work to do with the playing staff and whatnot. So that's what my intentions are. I want to see him put a serious investment in the on-pitch, squad.
Yeah, Mo, my expectation, mate, is simply to keep winning. Yeah, you know me, Mo. I'm competitive. I even wanted to win those little, the competition with the predicted lineups. When I got robbed a few times, mate. I want to win, and most importantly, I want Chelsea to win. First priority, I think we can all agree. And if no one agrees with this, what I'm about to say, then I don't know where your priorities lie. First priority should be to back Thomas Tuchel. As I keep saying it, the guy's performed miracles with this team. And it's finally time that we actually back the manager with what he wants. Secondly, we need to improve the quality of the squad depth. The squad depth is shocking when you're having players, and I don't want to keep bashing the guy, but Hudson-Odoi coming off the bench, yes, and he's from the academy, it's just not good enough. When you want to be competing for the league, and you look at the options, City and Liverpool fans Liverpool are bringing off the bench. It needs to be. We need to be reaching those levels. So yeah, priority. My expectations win. I'm putting my trust in Todd Boehly. I don't know what Couch says that maybe I'm just trusting too easy. I don't know, but I'm putting my trust in Todd Boehly. He's a new owner. I'm going to back him. I've done my research. I've spoke to, as I say, the American LA Dodger people, and they've said, he's ambitious, so I'm backing the guy. And anyone that's judging him, saying, I don't trust, not trust, but they're against him like this. Like Boogeyman, for example, I know he's not here. He's against him. So I don't know. I just don't understand it. The guy's not even here yet, and he's against him. So
Boogeyman, if you're listening, hope you arrive in Canada safely. He's traveling as we speak, so hopefully he'll be arriving in Canada shortly, and hopefully he has a safe trip. I'm gonna go to Julius, and I'm gonna ask Julius a question that JM started a conversation in the chat about. JM, I haven't seen you in the chat before, but you make some very interesting points. So thank you for joining the Blue Lounge family. Julius, this is for everyone, but I'm going to get Julius to kick us off on this. We've spoken about Liverpool a lot over the past week on the Blue Lounge. And we've looked at the good things that they've done and how we can, utilize them at Chelsea. JM is talking about, we can learn from Liverpool, but at the same time, we have things in our club that we should be proud of and we should build on. And I agree. Our academy is one of the best in the country in respect to what it has produced over the past few years and what it will continue to produce moving forward. And we have to thank our current owner for a lot when it comes to that, and how much he emphasized and how much attention he gave the development of the academy. That is a legacy that Roman Abramovich is going to leave for Todd Boehly to build on. And my question is this: what should we keep? What should we keep from the current system and build on? Like the academy is one example of that. And what should we look to change moving forward? And I want to hear everyone's take on this. And I'll start with you, Julius. And JM, thank you for bringing that point up. It's a very good point.
Absolutely. We are not the same club. We don't have the same culture, nor the same heritage, and we have things they don't have. They have things we don't have. We have the better academy for sure, way better, not even close, and that is a huge plus. And a part of our frustration in general, especially after winning the Champions League with the core of academy players, is that why did we fail to combine the good things of both worlds and have a proper transfer window, something we expected to do and plan for before, because we have the core. So obviously what we can do, and what Liverpool is doing, is to be very efficient with the spending and spend the money on the right players. I'll admit a couple of things. When they bought Salah, I made fun of them. I was actually laughing. When they bought Mane, same thing. When they even recently they got Jota, I think they paid 50 mil for him, or 60. I'm like, 60 mil for this guy, too much, man. And then Diaz now, I'm not sure how much they paid, 30, 40 mil maybe. But you look at it on a macro perspective, it's unbelievable. It's perfect signings, and they were able. This is what we want to try to emulate. Now, how do we do that? You need the right people. Neither me or you can do that. We have the right ideas, but we need the right people. People who knows what they know how to read data about football players. They have conversations with the manager and work together on targets that make sense. Doesn't matter how expensive they are. If this is the target, if let's say a target that we want is worth 20 million, 30 million, 40, great. We know we're gonna get a player cheap, and is gonna be a great addition to the team. He's gonna fit in the system. This is exactly what Klopp and Liverpool do. If we have a target that is worth 200 million and we can afford it, and it's not going to be an issue for us, sure. So there's not, for me, how I look at it is, it doesn't matter what the price is, as long as it's the right player. Because you could run into a situation where you need a player in a specific position, and it happened after you've done your analysis, the only option we have that will work at Chelsea with how we play is a player that is worth 150 mil. Now, I think about it personally this way. Is it good? Is it better to go spend 50, 60 mil on a bang average mediocre player that is not going to have any addition? He's not going to add any value to the team, or go spend 150 million to a player that is going to bring me success and trophies and stay at the club for such a long time? So we have to be careful here not to mix up being efficient in transfer windows and be against spending big money on specific players, because that doesn't matter. It's just about buying the perfect player or the best available option that would fit in the system. Drogba is a big
improve the scouting. That is something we definitely need to work a lot on, because currently our scouting system is
I will say this, as far as our scouting department goes, the local scouts are incredible. Like, I'm talking about within the UK, we have incredible scouts. We find all of them, all of the diamonds in the rough. South London, doesn't matter where they are, we find them. It's the international scouting that needs a complete overhaul, and Scott McLaughlin in particular. I don't know. But with the data points, and the interesting thing is, when Emanalo was at the club, that's exactly what he implemented. Like, we were using OptiStats and whatnot to find players and whatnot, and it was very, very successful for us. You know, he was very good at finding incredible diamonds in the rough just based on looking and studying data. You know, when and I know that changed. It might have been under Jose's guys, like we weren't actually using it the same way as we were previously, but there was a good 2-3 year period where if you went on Opta's like website, you would see that Chelsea were using their data. They had them listed as one of the clubs that were actually using it quite effectively. So yeah, it's just getting back to that, and just like Julia said, just finding somebody that can actually analyze that stuff effectively. And no, that does not mean that we're not going to be going after marquee targets, you know, in the market and whatnot. I think that is just part of the DNA of the club. We love the big signings. We're a London-based club. We need big names, you know. That just goes with it, right? But yeah, I firmly believe that Boehly understands that as well. Just being in LA and doing what he's done with the Dodgers, like, those guys spend money. They spend money to bring that team that you know, to put that team together. It's not, you know, it's not like the Moneyball with the Oakland Athletics or anything. Like, these guys are spending money. But I think that because we're in a unique situation where we are a huge club, but we don't have the turnover or the revenue to basically back it at this point. You know, we basically have to, you know, spend within our means, for lack of a better term. We need to be able to use some of this data to outline some of these, you know, smaller targets that can even just fill out the roster. We're talking about even just use data to find us a second right back, so Reece James isn't playing 60 games a season, you know. Use the data to find, you know, the next striker, you know, the next one, not the one that everyone thinks is the next one, or spending 100 million on a guy that can't even trap a ball. You know, like, we have to use data correctly, and I think that's where it's going to come in. But hopefully, you know, Boehly has this idea. It's not so much about the Liverpool model. It's about utilizing data correctly and, you know, getting the right people in place. But like I said, I think that our local scouts are really, really good. It's the international scouts that I got my eye on right now.
No, I would disagree with that. I would say our scouts are great. Said no one ever. Of course, we need to improve the scouts, mate. 100%. For me, yeah. I mean, the scouts are a joke, to be honest. I mean, we could do the job. I know Julie said that, you know, we couldn't, but we could do a scouting job. I mean, okay, we've won marquee signings. Let's go and sign. Let's go for Griezmann. Let's go try and get Mbappe on a free. We can do that. We need to find what is it? A gem. We need to find a gem, but we're not finding gems. We're looking at people like Lukaku, who throws his toys at the pram when things don't go his way. It's a joke, mate. We definitely need to improve the scouting department. And in terms of the academy, how many clubs can say they've got the likes of Reece James coming through their academy? Conor Gallagher, Mason Mount, not many. So we're very lucky. And once again, as you said, Mo, I want to say thank you to Roman for that, for investing in our academy and making our academy one of the most effective academies in the world. But not only that, I also want to give a shout out to him for investing in our women's team, because the women's team, with Emma Hayes in charge, are also very, very good. So credit has to go for that. It's not just the academy, not just the first team and the trophies. He's everything at Chelsea, the women's team and everything involved. He's done an absolutely amazing job. And he's the best owner of all time. No one's going to top Roman. So, yeah, thank you, Roman, for everything you've done, mate. Thank you. Even though he's not listening, I don't know why I'm saying mate. He's not listening, but thank you.
You never know.
Okay, thank you, Roman, mate. Thanks.
No, I want to just go back. I'll come to you, Bobby. I just want to go back to a point that Couch made in respect to we have good scouts locally. Are you referring to youngsters? Or you because we haven't really?
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. Like, just bringing kids into the academy and whatnot. Like, I don't think that there's a better one, to be honest. Like Neil Bath and whatnot. Like, his net is cast large. And like, our academy has basically been identifying the young talent all through the UK, and we basically we've gotten them all. Like so many of the ones that even that we lost were initially at Chelsea. I mean, like there's so many, but yeah, I just think that our international scouting needs to be improved immensely. But local scouting, I think that we do a good job of like stocking the academy with good players.
Fair enough. Bobby Sweat interrupts.
Yeah, Julius made a very good point about the fact that we're not Liverpool. We don't have their background. They have things that we don't have. We have things that they don't have, and I wouldn't want it any other way. I don't want us to copy their model. Their model is their model, and I know Chelsea. Chelsea copy nobody. We always set the trend. This statement that was made by Drogba just before our second Champions League victory was very interesting and meaningful to me, where he mentioned the DNA of the club. Chelsea's DNA has always been in harvesting their academy. The greatest moments ever experienced by this club always came through the academy. The likes of Jimmy Greaves, Terry Venables, George Graham, they were all Chelsea boys, and they all achieved great success in the mid to late 1960s, starting with the League Cup win in '65. Chelsea are such a unique club in that we are in the prime, most glamorous part of West London. Yet, unlike people like Liverpool and Man United that are city clubs, we are a regional club. Chelsea Football Club were the first club, and I think perhaps the only club, in 1945 that had a gate, that had a crowd of, was it 100,000 people come to watch them in West London. And that was because they are a regional club. People from not just that part of London support them, but from the whole Western region and Greater London support them. That's what Chelsea is about. And that's what people fail to understand. Yes, there are so many other clubs that are supported by fans in and around London, because that's what it means to support a London club. But Chelsea in particular have this uniqueness about them. And I believe Todd Boehly will tap into that. Our academy is incredibly successful. It is the blueprint for our future, most definitely. But the purchasing of experience to supplement that is where we failed in the past slightly. And that's where I want to see improvement. I really do. The academy has to be sustained, and the trajectory in that direction has to keep going. But since Emenalu left, Emenalu was very unfashionable. That's why he had problems with certain sectors of the fan base. They couldn't understand that this sort of African man, I think some Nigerian man, was such a student of the game, was so good at what he was doing, which he was. And it's only time that's now beginning to reveal that. I'm just being honest. Time that's beginning to reveal that. And I really hope time vindicates this man, and I'm sure it will. However, going forward, we have to get somebody else. I just hope that what I'm hoping for from Todd Boehly is from the boardroom level that we get a proper sporting director. I hear this guy from Barcelona's floating around, and I hear there's a couple of other Germans that Tuchel might know to bring into the football structure of the club. We need football people taking boardroom decisions, or people with an understanding of football, which might be pretty tricky coming from an American, but if he plays his card right, he will get it right. And that's what I'm looking at, those that will make. It's not about spending huge sums of money. No, sometimes it is, but most of the time it isn't. And that's where we can pick up from Liverpool, where they did their data fact-checking correct and targeted people that are lesser known, but more effective for the club and more successful in terms of their output in the positions they play. And that's what we need. And I think we will really be taken to another level.
Facts, Bobby. Well said.
Fantastic. Let me hear Eric. Let me hear from Eric.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree with what everyone said. It would be a good start to have a director of football. That would be a very good start, And Minalo was the last thing resembling that we had. Marina is not the director of football. She's just not. I don't know why Google thinks she is. Um, that would be a nice start. We need to think about, obviously there's a lot of things that go into it. I think when Mo is here, MDT, he talks a lot about some other aspects. Like the stadium, the gate receipts, the corporate sponsors. These are things that Mr. Boehly will have to consider when he's thinking about these, setting up the squad and how the structure is going to be. you know. So will we get signings based on what, corporate sponsors want to see, or will it be just about efficiency and just getting the right size? So it's a combination of a few things. I think someone like Christian Pulisic was a signing that early on, especially, it seemed like it was a combination of many things. Not only was he a corporate signing in a sense because of the American market, but he was actually one of our best players initially under Lampard. So I'm thinking of a situation where there will be a combination of things that the new owner would have to look at, Mr. Bowley, when he's making these decisions of how to set up the squad. And yes, we're not trying to copy anybody. We're not copying Liverpool. We're supposed to be the pace setters. We're the ones who determine what the standard is. Obviously, we've fallen away recently, especially in the league. But we're just on our way back. It was just a matter of time. Hopefully, we get there. I'm not too concerned about getting there immediately, even though, like, I agree with what Couch said. We have to, he has to put in the money. He has to invest. We can't go back to then, take two steps back to take a step forward. I think I agree with that. We have to just continue from where we are, and that might require, a little bit more initially. But at the same time, I think I am in favor of, doing the right business as opposed to doing something quickly and being an instant success kind of a club like we've been for a long time. So it's interesting to me. There's a lot of things that go into it, but I expect a lot of changes in terms of quickly trying to improve the squad as much as possible. So certain players just would not be able to play in this squad. I know Chris mentioned a certain player he likes to mention a lot, but there are many other players you can look at who, in a good Chelsea squad that should be challenging for the title, we shouldn't have these players in our squad. We just shouldn't.
Hudson-Odoi is a key example.
Yeah. So that's what I'm hoping for, and that's what I'm expecting. Yeah.
All right. Fantastic. Look, lads, Chelsea Football Club is going to change. Our club is going through a transition. Boogeyman, I think he's landed. As we show in sensitive grief, sadness with the change of ownership from Roman Abramovich, I wish the new owner is at least half of what Roman was to this club. People, I just landed. It's good that you've landed safely. We were talking about you a few minutes ago. I'm happy to see that you're safe and sound back home. Hopefully we will catch up with you over the next couple of days, Boogie. Get home, rest, and we'll speak soon. Guys, look, Boogie's right. This transition isn't going to be easy. All of us Chelsea fans, fell in love with our owner. I know some dislike him for pitch owner reasons, wanted to change from one ground to the another, whatever excuses they want to have. Chelsea fans, 99.9% of them loved Roman Abramovich. And even the ones who didn't love him, they all acknowledged that without him, the success that we've had would have been very difficult to achieve. The change and transition into a new ownership is not going to be easy. We are going to have to change our expectations. We are going to have to change the way that we look at our club, still do. Yes, we definitely. I will never forget these last 20 years with Roman. I'll never forget it. And I don't think any of us will forget it. But the change is going to happen. And we're going to have to change the way we view our club and our expectations. And this is why I was talking about what we want to see happen to the club moving forward. What we expect to see happen moving forward. The new owners coming in, they are going to have to win the fans over. Therefore, we can expect them to inject a lot of money initially. But we can't expect them to continue to do that over the seasons moving forward. They are going to expect the club to be self-sufficient. And there is going to be a plan put in place. And I believe this more with Todd Boehly. Todd Boehly will put a plan in place when it comes to the way the stadium is addressed in regards to expanding it, relocating it, doing what we've got to do to increase our revenue from the matches. That's going to have to happen. Todd Boehly will address that. Todd Boehly will address a lot of the financial aspects in regards to the club. I just hope that he is able to bring in the right footballing people to address the footballing side of the business. You know, Julius, Couch, Bobby, Chris, Eric, everyone talked about the scouting system. We need to develop that. We need to address that, especially when it comes to in Europe, in South America, in Africa, because there's a lot of talent out there that we don't have access to. Yes, we do need to get these marquee players in, but we also need to get these diamonds in the rough, because there's a lot of diamonds in the rough. Talking about Liverpool, Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah, they weren't world class until they actually played for Liverpool. They were good players, but when they played for Liverpool, they have got to that standard of being world class. And one of the heartbreaking things for me right now, at this particular moment in time, is we had a similar situation with Tony Rudiger. When he came to Chelsea Football Club, he was not a world-class defender. But he is leaving on a free transfer as one of the best defenders in the Premier League, if not the best defender in the Premier League. And that is a problem that I do not want to see happen under Todd Boehly. I don't want to see us become or to be in that situation. And by the way, with the way the world is with the pandemic and all that kind of stuff, we are seeing a lot of players leaving on free transfers, a lot of big names in a lot of big clubs. But most of them, they are leaving because they want to leave. They're not happy at their clubs. Tony Rudiger does not want to leave, but he is being forced to leave because of circumstances that are out of our control and circumstances that are in our control. And that, for me, is a problem. Again, I hope Todd Boehly, if he does come in, he will address that side of the business, as well as the financial side of the business.
So well said.
Lads, thank you. Lads, this stream is one that I do want to keep doing in the future. I will get in touch with my guys and we will do discussions and debates every now and then, because I know it's better content when you get multiple points of view rather than just me giving you my point of view. I mean, you know, most of the time I'm right and they're wrong, but you know, sometimes you No, I'm kidding. No. It's brilliant. I mean, I learn a lot from my panelists and I learn a lot from you guys in the chat. Whether I agree or disagree with you, I learn a lot from you, and so do people watching this stream, and so do people interacting in the stream. And this is why I'm so proud of this channel, because we have multiple points of views. I mean, I'm seeing Dexter in the chat. I disagree with a lot of what he was saying in the chat, but at the same time, I respect his point of view. Whether I agree or disagree, I respect his point of view. He put it across in a very well-articulated manner, in a respectful manner. So thank you for doing that, and I hope you continue to put your point of view across. We don't all have to agree, but we all have to respect each other and show acknowledgement of other people's point of view. We will be back live again tomorrow for our Chelsea Everton match preview, and then we'll be back again on Sunday for the post-match review, and I will be doing an Eid special with Eunice Talks Football and a few other lads on Tuesday evening. So I hope to see you all for that. There's a lot of content coming your way on the Blue Lounge, so make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe. If you want to support the Blue Lounge, click the like button and subscribe and turn that bell notification button on. 3 clicks. Subscribe, turn the bell notification button on, and when you see me streaming, hit the like button. I very much appreciate that. I will see you all tomorrow evening. Have a blessed evening. Good night and take care of yourselves. Peace.
Peace.